tonight we'll travel back more than 400 years. Imagine a world where much of North America remained unknown to Europeans. Dense forests stretched for hundreds of miles, rivers wound through untouched wilderness. At night, the only sounds were the wind moving through the trees and waves quietly reaching the shore. It was an age of exploration, an age when ships disappeared beyond the horizon for months at a time. Some never returned. Our story begins in the year 1587. England dreamed of establishing a permanent colony in the New World. If successful, it would become a stepping stone for trade, exploration, and perhaps even a new beginning for hundreds of families seeking opportunity. The chosen destination was a small island off the coast of what is now North Carolina. Its name was Roanoke. The journey across the Atlantic lasted weeks. Life aboard the wooden ships was difficult. Fresh water slowly became scarce. Food spoiled. Storms could appear without warning. Yet, after enduring the long voyage, 115 settlers finally stepped onto the island. Among them were skilled craftsmen, farmers, women, and children. This was not a military expedition. It was meant to become a home. Leading the colony was Governor John White, and he believed Roanoke could become England's first successful settlement in America. The settlers immediately began building houses. They explored nearby forests. They searched for fresh water and fertile land. For a brief moment, everything seemed hopeful. Then an extraordinary event took place. John White's daughter gave birth to a baby girl. Her name was Virginia Dare. She became the first English child born in North America. Many believed it was a sign of a bright future. But life on Roanoke was far from easy. Food supplies quickly became limited. Relations with some nearby indigenous communities grew tense, while others remained friendly. The colony desperately needed more supplies from England. The settlers asked Governor White to return home and gather food, tools, seeds, and additional people. It was not an easy decision. White had to leave behind his daughter, his newborn granddaughter, his friends. He promised he would return as quickly as possible. With that promise, his ship sailed back across the Atlantic. No one aboard could have imagined how long the journey would become. Soon after White reached England, war broke out. The English crown ordered nearly every available ship to prepare for conflict with Spain. For years, White was unable to secure another voyage, day after day, month after month, year after year. He waited, always hoping he could return before it was too late. Finally, after 3 long years, permission was granted. White immediately set sail for Roanoke. During the voyage, storms once again battered the ships. The Atlantic offered no guarantees. Eventually, the coastline appeared. Roanoke Island stood quietly in the distance. White hurried ashore. He expected joyful reunions. Instead, silence. The settlement was empty. No voices, no children, no animals, no smoke rising from cooking fires. The houses had been carefully dismantled rather than destroyed. There were no signs of battle, no burned buildings, no scattered belongings, no graves. It looked as though everyone had calmly packed up and left. White searched desperately for clues. Then he noticed something carved into a wooden fence. One word, CROATOAN. Elsewhere, only 3 letters had been carved into a tree. CRO. Before leaving England, White and the settlers had agreed on a simple plan. If they were forced to relocate, they would carve the name of their destination. If they left because of danger, they would also carve a cross beside the message. There was no cross, only the word CROATOAN. Today, historians believe the word referred to a nearby island and the indigenous people who lived there. Perhaps the settlers had simply moved. If so, why were they never found? White desperately wanted to search CROATOAN Island, but the weather suddenly turned dangerous. Strong winds threatened the ships. The captains refused to continue. With great sorrow, White was forced to leave. He never saw his family again, and so began one of history's oldest mysteries. Over the centuries, many theories have emerged. Some believe the settlers successfully joined the CROATOAN people and slowly blended into their community. This theory is supported by later reports describing indigenous villages where some people appeared to have European features or customs. Others believe disease claimed the settlers before anyone could rescue them. Without modern medicine, even a small illness could spread rapidly through an isolated colony. Another theory suggests they attempted to move inland in search of better farmland but became lost in unfamiliar wilderness. The forests surrounding Roanoke were vast. Without accurate maps, without roads, survival would have been incredibly difficult. Some stories even speak of pirates, or secret attacks, or entire settlements swallowed by history itself. Yet no theory has ever explained every detail. Modern archaeologists continue searching for evidence, fragments of pottery, old tools, pieces of metal, tiny clues buried beneath centuries of soil. Each discovery brings new questions, but never a final answer. Perhaps the mystery reminds us that history is often incomplete. Most ordinary people leave behind very little evidence of their lives: a broken cup, a rusted nail, a forgotten path through the trees. Time slowly covers everything. The people of Roanoke had hopes, dreams, families, children who laughed as they explored the shoreline, parents who believed they were building a better future. Yet today, we remember them not for how they lived, but because they disappeared. As night settles over the forests of North Carolina, the winds still move through the same ancient trees. The waves continue reaching the shore exactly as they did more than 4 centuries ago. Somewhere beneath those forests, the final chapter of Roanoke may still be waiting, hidden beneath the earth, patiently keeping its secret. Thank you for joining me tonight as we explored another quiet mystery from history. Sleep peacefully. And perhaps someday history will finally reveal what became of the lost colony of Roanoke. Until then, good night.